They're the backbone. There's at least 10 people working behind me on, collecting stems, licensing the tracks, working on the artwork, planning the release. There's a whole team around. Floris right now sitting behind me. He's helping me with the live stream. Ruben, of course, always checks the mix, and he has a lot of comments always, which is great. There's a big team of people, and the mastering gets done by Arjan. How many songs will there be in the mix? Says Atak. Well, it depends on how far I get. Right now, there's 65 songs in the mix, and I'm at 68 minutes. So I think I'll end up between 100 and 110, hopefully. What question would you like to be asked? That's a random question. Can we get a t-shirt with the art from the year mix of the cover this year? It would look super cool. It's a good idea, actually. I'll forward that to the team. Maybe we do some year mix t-shirts. Can I have your record box library for Christmas gift? No, you can't. Please include Ferry's Yes Man. It is in the mix. Yes Man. You want to hear that section? It's earlier in the mix because it has a lower BPM. It's here. Here's Ferry's Yes Man. So that's a part from earlier in the year mix. It includes the Ferry track. Is Make It Count on? Yes, count on it. Let me see. So many questions, guys. How do you hotkew divide manually all your tracks into parts in Rekordbox? Yes, I do. That's what I love doing myself. Can you change the key of a track? Yes, you can. With modern day software, it's possible, especially the new CDJs. They're quite good at it. I tend to stay away from that because you do hear the artifacts, and especially on big PAs and stuff. I think you just hear it, especially in the low end, because it is time stretching, but it gets better and better. These algorithms are better and better. Like in the earlier versions of Ableton, I really wouldn't go there. But yeah, time stretching has become a lot better, especially if you just, like, for example, if you just render an acapella and you use time stretching for that, but you use another track that's not time stretched, you don't hear the artifacts as much. But a trained ear will always hear if it's stretched. But I have to admit the algorithms do get a lot better. Is Ableton very expensive? I'd like to produce a few songs. Go on their website. I have the full version. I love Ableton. I love Logic. I love FL Studio. I love Cubase. I love Pro Tools. I mean, I make music with a lot of software. It's really about the chef, not about the kitchen. So, any Psy tracks this year? Yes, I think it is. Is there Dead Girl tracks in the mix? Yes, there is, I think. Is Space Case included? I plan to include it, but again, it has to fit the mix. I'm not at the point of the high BPMs yet. So right now I'm at the 69th minute mark. And I've just included the Alan Watts track, and I'm now gonna include a track with Guijarro and pitch. With Carrie, that's the next one I'm going to add. But if you guys don't mind, I'm going for a quick toilet break. So I'll be back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Okay, guys, we're back. Welcome to anybody that has just joined the live stream. I'm doing this State of Trance Yearmix 2023, like I do every year, and I started last year with the live stream and got so many positive reactions about it. And actually, I quite enjoy it if you guys ask me questions. So drop any questions you have in the Discord. I'm only taking questions in Discord right now. So head over to my Discord, discord.gg/arnn and go to the live questions section. Will the Lose This Feeling Dimension remix be added? That would be a crazy outro track. Could be. I haven't. I mean, I really decide if I add a track when I get to that point. So at the moment, I don't know. So I'm just gonna. I mean, I'm sometimes impatient as well. I want the mix to be finished, but I'm at the 69th minute in the mix right now. So it means I still have 15 minutes to go. Yeah, I'm gonna press save again. It's always a good idea. So version 43, here we go. And so the next track I want to add will be the one with Shadow and Pitch, also a carry track, which is beautiful. It's really a beautiful orchestral track. So I have to see how I can fit that in following the Alan Watts track. So I think it's cool if Carrie starts singing the a cappella over the Alan Watts track, and I have to see if there's a section in the Alan Watts track that just has a kick and no bass line. It does actually. Well, he has sent me the stems, so I can also go to the stems and grab his kick from there, but I don't need to because it's actually in the beginning of the track. So right now I can just go here. might smoothen out the transition a bit more. Let me see. Little BPM change over there. It's getting there. I'm not 100% happy yet, but that's something I can fix later when I'm, take a little distance from it and come back to it tomorrow. I'll always do that. Oh, this was a nice section actually. have a more quiet section in the mix when the vocal comes in. It's a lot of information, maybe. If we grab another section. Oh, there we go. Ableton crash. Yay! Here we go. Well, there you go. Ableton crashed. Doesn't happen too often, but it does sometimes. Life unexpectedly quit. How unexpected? No, like, see if it so it happens to everybody. You're not the only one that has crashing software. But, you know, I'm asking a lot from the software, so it's okay. But it proves my point that you need to back up. And I'm getting Apple's Wheel of Fun. There we go. See, we didn't lose anything, so it's all good. But just for shits and giggles, I'm going to save it. There we go. Saved, and I want to see if I can use a different section of the Alan Watts track. It's the 303 and the vocal at the same time is a bit much. What if I use that as just a little bit more? I think the cat got my mouse. Ah, there he is. See, now Ableton is doing all kinds of buffer kind of things, so I have to wait. Will the jam jar sound be included in the year mix? Did you guys see me do a song on my jam jar? I did it yesterday. It was fun. Looks like I'm at track 66 in the mix. There's another B minor that's staring at me at the moment. It's the Will Atkinson remix of Somna, but it's 144 BPM. So to prevent me from getting in trouble with that and having to use all kinds of stretching, I'm going to put it in the A sharp minor section, because that's actually half a tone below. So I'm not going to remove it from the mix. It's still going to be part of it, but I think it's not going to sound very good if I try to mix it in, because it's 4 BPMs higher, and either I have to put the mix in 144, which is something that will likely happen, but further on in the mix. So I'm moving this to the A sharp minor section, if that makes sense. So now I finished B minor. B minor is this chord. So I can either go to D minor or to F sharp minor. So that's usually how I work in the mix. I jump to the higher note. So we go from this track to these are all the F sharp minors I have in the mix. And just by mood, I think the John O'Callaghan track seems to have sort of the same sound characteristics as the Trance Wax one. So Riverside might be my next choice. Yes, I think or this one. C sharp minor. Yeah, so if there's any place to put in any F sharp minors, it's this one. But before I continue, I'll take some more questions. Hey Armin, why is it so special for you to make a year mix for A State of Trance? I guess because I grew up listening to year mixes. Those were really popular at the end of the 80s, early 90s in the Netherlands. And I really like to dive into the music. To really get to know the tracks and, you know, make some surprising transitions and all that sort of stuff. From start to finish, how long does this mix specifically take? Well, every year mix takes 2 hours, 120 minutes. But making the mix takes me roughly about 2 weeks of studio time. Let me see. Did you save it? Yes, I did. I didn't lose. My Ableton crashed just now. You guys saw it. So you're not the only one who has crashing software. Question from P-Wall. Hey, Armin, any advice for new producers and which software to use? Well, I really think it's not about the software. I've said this a million times before. It's not about the kitchen. It's about the chef. You know, really, there's not any really bad software out there. You know, if you're comfortable with using Ableton, if you're comfortable with using FL Studio, I mean, really use it. I mean, some of the biggest hits are made in FL Studio, you know, so there's nothing wrong. I mean, I work with Logic and Ableton, but there's many pros and cons, you know, so really use what you think is most convenient. The quickest, Logic has quite a steep learning curve, I guess, because you have to do everything yourself. Ableton is more hands-on, it's more quick. But I find Ableton to be less stable than Logic. It crashes on me more than Logic Pro, but then again, Ableton doesn't really crash a lot. Like since the latest updates, it's been pretty nice to me, so it hasn't really crashed. But you just saw it crash live on the air. Any plans to create a new Gaia album? Well, I'm not going to say much more. Am I excited for February? Yes, I am. We're doing A State of Trance in a new location in the Ahoy. And yeah, we're close to finalizing the lineup also for the Friday. So I'm really, really excited. Is Epica Maxima in the mix? No, it isn't. Because it's not in the Tune of the Year voting. But the track comes out tomorrow. I'm super happy that I've created another track with Jean-Michel Jarre, one of my all-time favorite heroes. Lose This Feeling, will it be included? Yes, it will. Have you thought about going to hardstyle again as you collaborate wild styles for typically Dutch? I love hardstyle, but you know, you'll see me raving at a hardstyle party for sure. But I'm not a hardstyle DJ, and I don't think I can actually produce a decent hardstyle track. So honestly, I'll leave that to the guys that are good at it. I'll stick to my trance plan if you guys don't mind. I mean, Haunted with Christina Novelli. I think that was a track from 2022. Why is the ASOT yearmix album cover art always with an earth and modern technology stuff? Is it a metaphor for trance music? Yes, I guess you could say that. I started with that in 2005 when the first mix was released. We later released the 2004 year mix. And we just came up with that cover idea. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm proud to say that the album artwork has, for 20 years been the same, and every year we choose a different theme. Is Destination in this year's year mix? Yes. Let me see what else. So many questions, guys. Love it. Love is a Drug is in the year mix. Motive so far is not, because it's not high up in the list. I'm sorry, Armin. So I guess you guys love Love is a Drug more. Will you collaborate with Will Sparks? Why not? I mean, I like to work with anybody that has a good idea, right? Charlotte de Witt, I'd love to work with her. Why not? Anybody that has a good idea, I'm down for it. Can you put some techno in there? For sure. Well, it's a State of Trance year mix, so it might be the odd 1 or 2 techno tracks, but if you're looking for techno, this is not your year mix. What's your favorite game to play when not making music? Well, I'm actually playing Zelda. I still haven't finished the new one, and I've just downloaded Spider-Man 2. Which ringtone do you use? Well, it's actually a ringtone of my daughter laughing when she was, when I was, playing around with her. Any plans to play Mexico? Yes, I'm coming soon. I'll announce that really soon, guys. You mentioned your set with Kiki was recorded in audio. Could you please let us know once it's available? I will. Just keep watching my socials. That's really up to management. Also, Kiki's management needs to be, they need to approve. So we need to wait for that. Let me see. Do you feel the same when mixing in the studio instead of mixing live? A question from Tosom. I guess I like both. It's a very different dynamic when there's a crowd standing in front of you. I mean, normally I sit in this chair for about 12 hours if I'm not at the gym or, taking my son to soccer practice or my daughter to gymnastics or cleaning the kitchen. This is the place where I'm normally at. But yeah, I love mixing live in front of a crowd. It's much more exciting. I mean, making year mixes like these can be a bit dull because you're kind of like of 1 minute mix. I'll be probably working on it for an hour, fixing all the details and stuff. So it's a little bit more tedious, but I quite enjoy it, as I said before. Let me see. Can you play Phone Down in your sets again? Oh, it's a bit old. Maybe if there's a new mix. Will ASOD London be back? Hopefully. Who listens first to this year's mix? I think it's my team. They have access to the Dropbox, so they can actually listen and send me suggestions, or if they hear like small mistakes or something. Hey Armin, aside from Calvin's hit, which tracks did you want to include in this year's mix but couldn't? Actually, that's the only one that we've... there's not really been another one. Or maybe it was a track that's not been released yet, for example. I can only put tracks in the year mix that have actually been commercially released. Metro, Nico, and Eric be on the year mix? Nope, it won't, because I can't license it. So, Darude Sandstorm? No, it's not in the mix, sorry. Got into Soundwaves? Maybe. The remix of Sia? No, it's not in the year mix so far. Is the t-shirt Space Case come back to the Armada shop? I think it's still there. The t-shirt should be there. Any plans for collaboration with Vintage Culture? I mean, we talked about it, but so far we haven't really done anything together. But I love his work. Do you still love Star Wars? Well, you see the sweater I'm wearing? That's it. All right, guys. If you don't mind, I'm just going to continue working on the mix. So I'm now at track 66 in the mix. And I have these tracks to consider. So track 67 could be another Alan Watts track or the John O'Callaghan Riverside. I think that's a beautiful one as well. So always when I add a track, I start with this, the tedious part. 140. There you go. These are both instrumental tracks, which is good after so many vocal tracks, I guess, in the mix. You know, a producer really loves a track if he puts like instrumental sections again at the outro of a track, which is what I love. There's a little synth in the Transwax track. Let's see if there's a different section in the Transwax track that, because it sounds a bit off. So just checking to see. See that could be. It is more clean. I love that artificial intelligence because it fits the theme of the yearmix as well, which is AI. Here we go. And there we go. We made the transition from B minor to F sharp minor. now you can hear those two kicks. This is an example. So I'm grabbing LFO tool again, just because I do want the artificial intelligence track to keep going, but because the top end of the kick, the top kick, as the Swedish would say, the top kick, the interfering. So I'm gonna set an LFO tool so it only fades out the tick of the kick, just to show you as an example. So just fading out the kick. So I do have the hi-hat and all the rest of the beauty, but I'm just removing that section, and I want to be able to control it. So I'm going to put it here, make an extra lane, and it's off the entire mix. So I have to put it at 50. That means it's off. 51, 59, 49. Yeah, 50. There we go. And then I'll turn it on here. If I remove the LFO tool, you hear the attack of the kick. It's really loud. See, now it's gone. It's a different key. No, it's not. Room for the Alan Watts track. So let's see what section I want to include of that track. think this track may even fit better than the Alan Watts track. So what if I do that first? Makes more sense to me. And now the only thing you can barely hear, but it's the Alan Watts track, or the Alex Morph track, is actually 138. So what I'm doing, I'm making a quick transition from 140 to 138, and that's what I'm using time stretching. So only at those sections. So I'm putting this at beats, and then 1/8. See, now it's totally included. To make this transition even more exciting, I'm doing a little kick roll here out of the parts from John O'Callaghan's track. This is another kick roll, and this one I'll reverse. Reversing the entire track. Ableton decided it needs to buffer again. Now you hear it misses the transients of the kick, and that's because it makes I've auto fade on the sides of the clips. So it means it's actually fading in every clip to avoid clicks, which is what you want, because otherwise you get clicks and pops. But for kicks, you kind of miss the attack of the kick. So I want to fix that just for these kicks. So you make sure you do hear the, ooh, it's actually a little off. How's that possible? Ooh la la. So here we go. Now the first kick is fixed. And I'm putting those, so you actually hear the attack of the kick as well. I'm making sure that that's on every, so now you hear it. And now all we need to do is fix the volume automation. There's still one off. Why is that second one doing that? Yeah, now it's fixed. to make the impact of that transition even bigger, we can include a cymbal. Just barely noticeable, but it does make a difference for the transition. So and then another trick is to just reverse it when you go into the transition. Yeah, I think that sounds nice. Let's save it as version 45. So, if you've just joined us, I'm working on the State of Trance Year Mix 2023. The mix will be broadcasted on air as the last episode of 2023, so the week right before New Year's Eve. And the mix will also be available on streaming platforms. I've been doing this live stream since 3 hours now. I hope you guys are enjoying it. And I'm taking questions in my Discord. Let's have a quick look at the questions that are coming in. Let me see. I was a little confused about the dates. A difference between recording and playing. Well, I'm making the year mix right now, but it's going to be broadcasted end of December, and the mix will be released before the broadcast. So I think it's December 8th, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. Let me see. What else? Questions. Does the mix include remixes from Feel Again? Yes, there will be a special Christmas release, including all the remixes that I've been playing in my sets for Feel Again. So that's kind of nice. Are you going to make any classical trance mix anytime soon? Nope, I haven't planned on that one. What's your favorite film of the moment? Well, I watched Oppenheimer. That was absolutely amazing. Have you ever played St. Louis, Missouri? Yes, I have. Let me see. What other questions? On the past 2005 and 2006, how did you make the year mixes? Well, on a Mac using Ableton. Will you ever collaborate with Amelie Lenz? Why not? I mean, I always find questions about, do you want to collaborate with such and such, a bit difficult, because you can work with the biggest artist in the world, but you can also work with small artists. I mean, I guess people didn't know Trevor Guthrie, but you know, he was part of Soul Decision, but he wasn't a big name. But the track was one of my biggest so far. So working with a big name is just name dropping. You know, unfortunately, it does make a difference. I think even more than before. If you have a name, people will automatically be drawn to your music, and that's simply because right now there's 100,000 tracks being uploaded to Spotify every day, and they expect that to be 1 million a day because of AI. So yeah, it's hard to get your name out there. So, but for collabs, you know, for me, it always resembles, like, I can work with a really established artist, but if the track doesn't work, you know, it doesn't make sense. So that's why I always say, like, I want to work with everybody, including yourself watching this live stream, as long as your idea works, you know. At the end of the day, everything begins and ends with a good song or a good idea or a good melody or you know, something like that. Let me see. Will the song Do Right appear in the year mix? No, it won't. It's part of my album, but it's not in the year mix. How many coffees did you have today? Well, I drink more coffee when I make year mixes, so I think this is my 4th one. But Flores just gave me a glass of water, which is a lot more healthy than coffee. Is this mix going to be trancier as previous editions? No. Well, that's a good point, actually, you're pointing out, because right now, I'll show you the entire mix. Right now, I'm in minute 72 of the State of Trance year mix. So I'm about 60% into the mix. This is the this is the complete mix so far. So there's many tracks in there already, over 60. And the first part of the mix, I can play you a brief snippet from the earlier part in the mix. Let's see, I think this was a nice section. So this is a lot more like you know, progressive trance, or, you know, melodic techno, as you guys call it now. Hell, when I look at Beatport, I see all those genre names. I'm like, really? Did they find a new genre name again? But it's fine. It's all good. You know, I don't really care what it's labeled. If it's trance to me, then it's trance, right? But for some people, it's a dirty word, so they call it melodic techno. So this is earlier in the year mix, where the BPM is around 124. And I've actually included tracks from Aname, Estiva, Miss Monique, and Avira. Yeah, so the mix really builds. So it builds to the uplifting section that's here right now. Right now I'm in the uplifting section, so that's why you're actually hearing more like the uplifting stuff. But I guess the second part of the mix will be more uplifting, and the end will be more techno-ish, or harder trance kind of thing. But yeah, don't pin me to like 1 BPM or more uplifting or just uplifting. It's like every year mix, you know, it's kind of a journey of all the styles that we play at A State of Trance. So let me get some more questions from my Discord. We call it trance, exactly. Shall we just stop the whole debate and just call it house music again? Like, let's call everything house music. That would be such a relief, you know? No more too cool for school, you know? I don't want to shake your hand because you're a trance, whatever kind of thing. Just call everything house. Who helps make the video for the ASOT year mix? Well, we work with several parties. Most of the footage is shot by Wissam. I don't know who does the edit, but he does a great job. And he did a great job last year. Via Infinity made it. Yes, Estiva was actually really high in the top 100 of the State of Trance year mix. Shout out to Floris. Hey, there we go. A lot of people ask me what is my favorite year mix so far. Well, I haven't really listened to all of them in succession. There are some mixes I'm super proud of, but I think every mix has a lot of labor of love, you know. Especially the early days, I had to put like 4 weeks into it. So, how's the collaboration with Hilo? We need to find a date to do a follow up. Let me see what else. Will you ever perform live with Jean-Michel Jarre? That would be amazing. I mean, there's not talks of live performances, but who knows? You know, I'm definitely down for it. We're releasing our track Epica Maxima tomorrow, which I'm super proud of. Let me see. Any plans to come to Northern Ireland? No plans, but I'd love to come back. Transmission Ilke Klein AVB, please. Sorry, I have to insist there. I've included the Joris Voorn remix in the 2022 edition, and I really want to focus on new music. And I'm proud of my mix. It did really well on my sets, but if you want to listen to that, grab the 2022 edition. Let me see. Or else. Is it possible to play Psytrance for your fans? Yeah, if there's a Psytrance track that's high in the standings so far for the mix, then yeah. A lot of people asking for a new universal religion. I am actually thinking about doing that. But then I want to do something different for universal religion, different than ASOT. Should still be trance, but maybe like constructed, like using stems like I'm doing for this one. I don't know yet. Is Armin afraid of 138? The new songs are too fast. Excuse me? What do you mean by that? I have no idea what he means. Right now I'm at 138, so what else? Hi Armin, do you think about making ASOT first half mix? A lot of great tracks released earlier in the first 6 months. People may forget them. The remix of Ahmed Helmi for Ruben's Footprint, for example. Yeah, I mean, the answer to that is very simple. It's not high in the standings so far of the Tune of the Year voting. So if there's a track of yours that you like that's not in the State of Trance year mix, then either it means I couldn't clear it for clearance purposes, but that's not a lot of tracks, or it's just not high in the standing so far of the Tune of the Year voting. So Epica Maxima will not be part of the year mix. Nope, it won't. Maybe next year, I don't know. We'll see. Very sweet message from Eric. Says, Dear Armin, you deserve a big compliment. The year mix will be a nice one. Keep up the good work. 2024 will be a very nice year for you. Let's hope so. Dennis says, did you include more of Lander, the Devil and the Dirty Bird? No, I didn't. And the simple reason is that it's not high in the list so far for the Tune of the Year voting. So I based the choices of the track selection for the mix on the Tune of the Year voting. So, and you can still influence that result of the voting just by heading to vote.estateoftrance.com. Are there any Daniel Candy mixes in the track? Yes, I think there is. Armin, could you tell a bit more about the 138's history? There's not really much to say about it. 138 is just a BPM. And honestly, I don't care if a track is 80 BPM or if it's 200 BPM. If it's a good track, it's a good track. But, traditionally, 138 is a BPM that a lot of uplifting tracks, they stick to. I don't know why. And in a radio show years ago, I once said, who's afraid of 138? Because all of a sudden there was a trend that the BPMs were going down. And I like high BPMs, as you know. But I also like low BPMs. I don't really have a particular favorite. It's just that traditionally a lot of trance music is 138. Don't ask me why. But it doesn't mean a trance track of 136 or 132 or 124 is less, there's actually in the State of Trance year mix, there's a lot of trance tracks that are 124 or 126. So really 138 is just a number. But it was something I said during a radio show, who's afraid of 138? And we made a label to that just to cater to the fans that really like the faster, higher BPMs. For years, people actually didn't like it, or there was not a lot of support. And recently you see that all of a sudden a lot of people are start playing higher BPMs again. So maybe I should start a new label, who's afraid of 150 or something. No, I just like to stick to what I do. What's the difference between the Friday and Saturday lineups for Ahoy Rotterdam? We'll announce the full lineups for both dates soon. They're going to be 2 completely different days, different lineup, different sets. So I guess it's worth it to come to both, obviously. It's not the same, so I'm going to do different sets as well. Hi Armin, have you ever thought about making a mix with the winning trance of the year songs? I did, but that will be a short mix because it's only 20. I think we've only done 20 or 21 countdowns so far. Will there ever be a communication part 4? Who knows? Good idea, actually. Yeah, it may need an update. We'll see. Are the tracks already mastered? Is the final compilation mastered again? Is this remastered sound don't affect the sound? I think there is a lot of confusion about what mastering actually is. I think if you ask 10 different artists and 10 different mastering engineers, they'll give you 10 different answers to what mastering actually is. Some people say it's about leveling. Some people say it's about EQing. Some people say it's about both. I think that mastering is basically you the keys to your house to somebody else. No, I've worked with a lot of mastering engineers, and sometimes it does make the end result better. Sometimes it doesn't. Recently, when I work with Benno in the studio, we just make the master ourselves, because sometimes we send it out to mastering and it's ridiculously expensive, and all they do is they boost the 500 hertz frequency or something. And yeah, it does make sense, but I don't think it's worth the money. It doesn't really make it better. For the yearmix, I do like to work with Arjan Rietvink, simply because I've been working with him for years. He's very good at it, and because I have so many tracks in the mix, he goes over everything and smoothens out transitions even more. Because, you know, sometimes if you've been working on a mix for so many hours, it's good to have a set of fresh ears, you know, kind of working on everything. So I leave the final mix to him, simply because there's so many elements in a year mix. But you know, there's a lot of people who make mixes without mastering. I mean, we can have an hour's debate about mastering here, but I think it's all about using your ears, and if something sounds good, it sounds good. Is there a Kiki song in the mix? No, there's not. Any news about Rising Star? I just haven't had time to work on a new Rising Star track. Would you include my track in ASOS year mix? Yes, I would, Boris. But I'm sorry to say you're not very high in the standing so far for the Tune of the Year voting. So maybe next year. What happened to Gaia? Is Gaia done? No, on the contrary. A remix for the Destination anthem, Armin, at the moment. Well, did you listen to the ADE, ASOT ADE episode we did? All the way at the end, there's a remix. And why do you use Ableton for the year mix? Any particular feature you liked on there? It's very well. Ableton is very good with the clips, and I like the stretching algorithm that they have. I guess there's a lot of software you could use doing mixes like these, just simply because I know the shortcuts in Ableton and I'm fast with Ableton. It's my DAW of choice, but I guess you could use several kinds of things. What Gaia Tuvan remix was that in your ADE set? It's a new one. How do you decide which genre fits which track? I just go by gut feeling, I guess. I just don't look at Beatport labels. I mean, I love Beatport. It's amazing. I mean, where would we be without Beatport? But I don't always agree on the genres. But a genre discussion is, you know, it could be endless. So I'm just glad it's there. But sometimes I play stuff that's labeled as melodic techno or hard trance, or I don't care. If it fits my set, it fits my set. But I'd like to say my main sound is trance. But, you know, some things label main stage or whatever that is. I just use it. It feels right. Let me take some last questions, and then I'll continue a little bit more with the State of Trance year mix. Is it a possibility you're going to visit Transmission in December? No, I'm not playing Transmission, and unfortunately I have other plans, so I'm not going to be there. But I hope you guys are going to have an amazing time. Favorite synth is Silent. No, I like Silent. It's a little older, but it's an amazing synth that I'm still using a lot. I guess Serum would be my current favorite. I'm using Serum a lot. Yeah, I love Spire. Those are my go-to synths, I guess. Diva is amazing, and there's a couple of new ones that are just incredible. Really, don't pin me too much on one. Pigments. I've been using Pigments a lot lately. Yeah, there's several really, really good synths at the moment. All right, last one. Trance is a feeling, not a BPM. I agree. What has been your big highlight of 2023 so far, says Ross? Well, I want to say my gig on the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. It was literally a highlight. The only downside of it is that there was no audience because they couldn't come up there. But it felt great to do a DJ set so high up. And it was great to promote the Untold Dubai Festival, which something I'm really excited about, to see you guys in February. I guess by that time I could use some warmth. So if you guys don't mind, I'll still be taking questions later, but I'm going to continue working a little bit more on the mix. So right now I'm in the 3-minute mark in the State of Trance year mix. I've just mixed tracks from Trance Wax, John O'Callaghan and Alex Morph. I was working on an Alan Watts track that I really like, but I felt for that particular transition from B minor to F sharp minor, the Alex Morph track fitted better. So now I still want to go back to that Alan Watts track because I like it and it was high in the Tune of the Year standing so far. So I'm gonna see if I can make a transition between the Alex Morph track and the Alan Watts track called Set Me Free, which is on Carnage Recordings. So here's where I am right now. See if this works. Okay, now here's the first issue. I see that the Alan Watts track is 140 and the Alex Morph track is 138. So there's a slight tuning issue. Now don't tell anybody, but I'm gonna up the tempo to 140 secretly during the transition. But it means that I need to stretch the Alex Morph track. So rather than using repitch, as soon as it goes to 140, I'm gonna use it to put it to beats and put it at 1/8. So you barely hear it, I guess. So this is the Alex Morph track stretched to 140. But it means I don't have to stretch the Alan Watts track because I quickly transition from 138 to 140. Check it out. See, now it's totally in key, and the only thing that's stretching is the Alex Morph track, just a bit. And the only thing I'm gonna do to smooth out the transition in the Alex Morph track, I'm gonna put the last bit of that track into a delay. So I have this track called Simple Delay, and it just smoothens out the transition like that. See, so you don't hear that actually the track is being cut off, but it's just and then we just go straight into the track, which is here. So now, when we go from Trance Wax to John O'Callaghan to Alex Morph to Alan Watts in 1 minute. No, in 3 minutes. Okay, there we go. So another 3 tracks in the mix. And here's a... So now I'm going to move from F sharp minor to C sharp, because they're in the same chord, hopefully. It's always a bit of a gamble, but it should be fine. So we're going from Alex Morph to actually one of my favorite tracks from the year, which is Trance Wax Ascent. Super dope track. Really love this one. There's an Andy Royale track. So the tracks I've selected for the year mix are there's 7 C sharp minor tracks, roughly about 138 and 140. So I'm going from Alex Morph and Amy Wallace to either Trance Wax, Andy Royale, Craig Connolly, Frank Spector, another Andrew Rayel one, and my track with Vini Vici, and another Kijaro and pitch track with Emma Hewitt this time. So I need to find sort of, okay, I need to transition from F sharp minor to C sharp minor. So I need to find out how I can smoothen that out, because I'm coming from the Alan Watts track actually, the Set Me Free one. So it's going from John O'Callaghan to Alex Morph to Alan Watts. And then I'm at track 70 into the mix, so I'm getting to close to 75% of the mix, yay! So I need to see how I can smoothen out that transition. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to import a few candidates. So these tracks are in the mix, so I can delete these. And I'm going to import the ones that I think would fit after the Alan Watts. So I'm listening to like tempo, like sound, color, like that kind of thing. So I think it should be another high energy trance track. I think the Frank Spector track is a candidate for sure. And I love this track by Andrew, but it goes into a vocal, so it's a whole different section. You know, we've had quite a few instrumental trance tracks after each other. So it's Transwax, John O'Callaghan, Alex Morph. Well, it has a vocal, but I consider it instrumental because there's like only like an ad lib, which is great. And then there's an Alan Watts track. So I'm considering going from Alan Watts to... that makes the most sense to me, like energetic wise. The only downside again, it's we have to go from 140 to 138. And then there's a lot of beauty, a lot of beautiful uplifting songs, but they're all songs. So this is the only like hard uplifting track. So I'm doing a transition from Alan Watts to Frank Spector with a kind of the transition from F sharp minor to C sharp minor. So I'm importing the Frank Spector one. See, when I do these year mixes, a lot of time actually goes into deciding the next track. So kind of have the same order. So I'm not only looking at the standing so far. I'm not only looking at BPMs and keys. I'm also looking at, okay, flow and transition and taking that into account for the mix as well. And then when everything's done and when the live stream goes off and I'm back on my own in the studio again tonight, I may make a lot of changes again, just because I want to listen to the flow of the mix. You know, does it make sense? Sometimes there's a theme that lasts about 16 bars or 32 bars, and you know, did we hear the theme enough? Did the track actually get enough attention in the mix? Because I have the tendency to make it really, really short. Because, you know, I want to put more than 100 tracks in the mix. That's kind of the theme of this mix. But sometimes it really means you're killing your darlings a little bit. So that's why it's very important to review what I've done so far. So right now I'm constructing, but tomorrow morning when I'm back in the mix, I may make a lot of changes or extend a few things or make things shorter. But you can not hear it instantly. At least I can't. You know, it really depends on... yeah, the mood and how it feels, or what the story that the mix is trying to tell. So here's another track that's high in the standing so far for the Tune of the Year voting. It's a track by Dolpenberg, Dutch guy, and Frank Spector from France. So I have to see if I can make this transition from Alan Watts to Frank Spector. Maybe I could just go straight into the melody, or maybe I just need a few bars of bass line to get used to the new key. So what if I just drop the melody in straight? Let's see if that makes any sense. If it doesn't, I can just have a section where we just go to straight bass line. that sounds like it's too random. So I need a section where I just introduce the. Maybe I'm cutting off the track too fast, so maybe this track needs to have a little bit more breathing space or a different ending, because I feel the transition isn't smooth enough. That's a smooth transition to me, but that's F sharp. So let's see if we find another track maybe that's better for that transition. So maybe we do need to go into a vocal track to make the transition to C sharp. And this is in minor, so I guess the Andrew Rayel track would be my first choice. So I will use the Frank Spector track, but I'm just parking it for now. So this won't be the track after the Andrew Rayel one then, or the Alan ones. Okay. Now first help Ableton a bit. It's 138. Now let's see if Santa Andrew has been kind enough to send me the stems. Andrew Rayel, here we go. One more memory. He sent me the stems. Amazing. See, here are all the separate stems from Andrew Rayel's track One More Memory. Kicks, leads, and of course vocals. So in this case I'm going to choose the vocal, put it next to the Andrew Rayel track so I can line it up. So Ableton needs to render. Let's see what he comes up with this time. And he says it's 67 BPM, which is not. Always cracks me up. Okay, and then we go here. So now I'm doing this to line it up with the original, so I know what I'm actually listening to. So I'm playing the Andrew Rayel track and lining up the original a cappella. So that's the vocal. That could go over an F sharp. I've been hurt for so long. Can't really. Sleepless nights we're running through my mind. Why we're going nowhere, but I'm still there. I'm still there. When I lie awake at night, I remember. Now let's see if that works with an F sharp. I don't know. Just have to work on it. See if it works. Hey, there's an F sharp in that note. Perfect. So now we're actually having an F sharp minor vocal over, a C sharp minor vocal over a F sharp minor track. Wait, I've put the positioning wrong. It's actually here. Now let's see where the track. Let's see what he gave me in the stems, because perhaps I can introduce the riff already together on the kick of the Alan Watts track. So it's 138. Okay, here we go. That's amazing. So now I have this riff solo, and I can introduce that, and before I introduce the entire track. So let's see what happens here. makes sense. Needs a lot of tweaking, but I think that could really help me transitioning from F sharp to C sharp. There's a little bit of, she starts to sing. We have to get, if we cut that. Great. So now I survived another transition from F sharp to C sharp. So now we're at track 70 into the year mix. Minute 75 minutes into the year mix. So we're getting really close to getting to 75%. So yeah, guys, my suggestion is to leave the live stream running for about 5 more minutes. And then, yeah, I'm going to cut it because I think Floris wants to go home as well.
It's very nasty outside still.
Why is there 4 tracks of the same song? Well, Xian, I'm using stems, several parts from the song. For example, with this Andrew Rayel track, the track itself does end up in the mix. This is the full Andrew Rayel master, and here's just the leads that I'm using. So he sent me the stems, so it's easier for me to make transitions, and it harmonizes perfectly with the rest of the mix. Why do you need to play a track at its native BPM? Why not play a 139 instead of going from 138 to 140 and back to 138? As a question by Barbs. Good question, Barbs. Thanks for your question. I do that because if I stay at its native BPM, it's more. I don't need to use any stretching. I don't need to use any pitching. So it just sounds the purest that it can. First of all, I'm using uncompressed WAV masters for everything that I do with the year mix, so it has the highest possible sound quality. I know a lot of people are using stretching, and that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, I think a lot of the stuff you hear in modern day music is time stretched to the max. But just because it's melodic music and there's a lot of things going on, like melodies, bass lines, kicks, and everything, there's a lot of information in trance music in general. You can easily get caught up in stuff sounding too artificial or too stretched, or and I take pride in the fact that a lot of the mixes that I do, I rarely use any stretching. I do sometimes when I have to switch to certain BPMs, but then I try to minimize it. I don't have to jump through hoops. So to make my mixing life a little easier, I try to stay in the native BPM at its original repitch. But that's just who I am. There's nothing wrong with stretching or making it sound artificial. In fact, it can be a cool thing. Who's making the master of your tracks? Have you ever done? Is a question by Bruno. Well, I've answered this question before in the live stream. I use when I work with Benno in studio, we just do it ourselves, and also when I'm working on myself. So actually, I like to work on it that way. But sometimes I'm using a mastering engineer. For the yearmix, I'm using a mastering engineer simply because there's so many elements going on, and sometimes I just can't hear it anymore. Hey Armin, what are your thoughts on classic trance being popular again? Do you think trance will ever be as popular as it was back in '99? No, I think simply because the sound has changed. I mean, nobody owns trance music, right? We're in a phase where, there used to be only a few genres back in '99, but now there's all these genres, new genres. Like there's a new genre being born every day. I'm happy to see that higher BPMs are possible again, and a lot of melodies are coming into techno sets, so that's a cool thing. What suggestion do you have for an upcoming artist to stand out? Question from Ahi Takni. Simply, your quickest way to the top is, I guess, making a track that everybody starts playing. I mean, look at Casso, what he's doing right now. He's on Dance Department this week with a guest mix. He's 21. He's from the UK. He made a remix that he put on SoundCloud that got super popular, and he's living the dream right now. Let me see. Who have you enjoyed working with the most over the years? I'll have to say Benno, because he's my buddy, and we just have a click in the studio. But I haven't had any bad experiences collaborating with other artists. Hey Armin, is it correct to use the D major on a trance song? Yeah, why not? I mean, I love D major. There's nothing wrong with D major. We all love D major. It's funny though how a lot of trance classics are actually in G minor. I had a discussion about that with Ferry the other day. A lot of it is F sharp, G, or G sharp minor. But I know a lot of really great trance tracks in D major. So please, there's nothing wrong with it. Will you do a year mix in Dance Department? No, I won't. Simply don't have the time for it. What's the secret in finding balance between work, making music, gigs, family, and personal life? Well, I could talk about that for hours. I have to say there is a new documentary. There's a thing called Be Playing, which is part of Star Plus, and it's on Disney as well. It's actually pretty cool. There's 6 episodes, also featuring Carl Cox, Nervo, Afrojack, and I did an episode, and I talk a little bit about that. So maybe you want to check out that episode of Be Playing. It's called Be Playing. If you have a Disney account, it's on there, and I think in Latin America, it's on Star Plus. Will the Space ID that's been played many times live be sent this year? I think we're starting to promo soon. I hope it's dropping soon. I don't want to promise any release dates, but I think it will be. Armin, I love you. Thank you so much. Let me see. What else? How long have you been preparing for this year mix? I already answered that question, but it's it starts by gaining the original masters, and I have to say big thank you to the Armada team for helping me with filling the Dropbox with stems. I mean, I just showed you all the beautiful artists that have sent me stems of their tracks, which I know is a pain to make stems, but of these tracks right now, I'm having all the stems. Guys like BK and Craig Connolly and Ilke Klein and Ferry Corsten and Hel Sloot. They've all sent me stems. Doesn't guarantee you that you're in the mix, because again, I'm using the standings so far of the Tune of the Year voting. Let me see. A few more questions to round this up. If you have any questions, then please hurry, because we're going to quit the live stream. I'm not going to quit the mix, but some people have to go home as well. Will the collab with Vini Vici be on the mix? I guess so, because it's pretty high in the standing so far. Does the software count BPM? Yeah, actually I have this plugin that I use a lot. I hope it works. It's called Mixed in Key Live. I don't want to update right now. Come on, I'll do the update later. This is a beautiful little plugin that actually helps me. I used to do this manually by just selecting the keyboard. But if I play, for example, this track, see, it says it's almost good. It's almost here, 138 C sharp minor. I love this little plugin. It's great. But I'm also using the keyboard that's here a lot. See, because sometimes the software can go wrong. So honestly, no matter what you use, if you use mixing key, if you use a record box, whatever, always check if the ground key is what you're actually hearing, because the software makes mistakes. I see on Beatport, I see Beatport trying to analyze, and they're obviously relying on the AI to, and then it says my track is in a totally different key than what it's in. So always use your ears. But I find this tool, the Mixed in Key Live that they did with Kashmir, I found the most helpful, and I don't have any shares in that. So. Are there any Robbie C tracks in the mix? I don't know. Will the mix have an outro? Yes, it will, but I still need to fix it. I have Jack's voice. I recorded that, but I make the outro when I know what my last track is. That, for example, the intro for this year's year mix is in B minor. So like the pads and everything go in B minor because the first track is in B minor. Will Epica Maxima be on your new album? No, it will only be on Jean-Michel Jarre's album, and it will come out next week. Let me see. Do you like drum and bass music? Yes, I love it. It's amazing. I have so many styles that I love. I mean, I was at EDC the other week and I heard like dubstep again and trap, and you know the sound that's in the US. I love it all, but I don't play it. You know, when I love something, it doesn't mean I automatically play it. But yeah, no, I love a lot of, like, you'll secretly find me at Awakenings in a corner with my hoodie on, listening to Adam Beyer or something. I'm a massive techno fan as well. So, but the sound I play is trance. Will you collaborate with Fred again? I would love to, but I guess he's pretty busy looking at his Instagram. Armin, a question from JC. How could Ableton improve making next year's mix quicker for you? Well, for some reason, I find it funny how Ableton always struggles to auto-render the clips. You know, I guess they're working on it, and it does get better, I have to admit. But yeah, if they could look at that, that would be so much easy. Doppenberg Music is online. What's up? Great to see Genesis is selected for the mix. It's selected, but it's not in the mix yet. But I guess it will be, so don't worry about it. What about the ASOT show for next year? Any new plans? Well, the big plan is, of course, we have the new theme, Destination. And there will be more destinations announced. We'll be doing more festivals around the world, I'm proud to say. But the main focus right now is on Rotterdam. I'm so excited. Ticket sales are actually going really well. And after the success of last year in Utrecht, I was kind of scared because we're moving to a new venue, new location, because the Jaarbeurs isn't anymore, at least the hall that we use as the main stage. So we have to move to Rotterdam. But I think this is I think you guys are going to be excited, because I was actually in the Ahoy, and it's more condensed, it's closer to each other. We'll be using the entire Ahoy, almost every room, and we've got some amazing stuff planned for you guys. So I can't tell you how excited I am for ASOT next year. Few more last questions, guys. We'll be cutting the live stream in a few minutes. Have you ever decided on a collaboration and later regretted it? Not really, but some collaborations are more successful than others, I guess. Do you like Patatje Oorlog? Yes, I love it. Let me see. Is there an Energy Mind track in the yearmix? Not so far. Can I visit the ASAD radio show when I travel to Amsterdam? Question from Abriot. Good question. Best thing is to send an email to either Nina or Ruben, because they handle that stuff. We always love having guests on the radio show every week. Tonight we'll have guests as well. So if you want to be a guest in Amsterdam when we record the State of Trance, make sure you send an email to either Nina or Ruben and they will sort you out. When will Dream a Little Dream be released? I think that's the most asked question. It will be released, I promise, but it will be next year, unfortunately. Will you come to China for New Year's Eve? Nope, I'm taking New Year's Eve off. I'm with my family. Will you do more meditation sessions? When I have time, yes, I will. I actually wrote some new meditations and just need to record them. But on all the projects that I'm currently working on, it's a little hard. And now I need to focus on the year mix. That's the... that's about it. Is there a specific place where you feel better to produce? Well, I know my studio here. This is where the room where I'm in right now, I've been in for 15 years and I know the sound of this studio really well. So I guess this is my favorite place to produce, but sometimes I really get inspired working in other studios. For example, in the Armada studio where we created Destination, or in Benno's studio, or, you know, wherever we go. Sometimes I'll be in LA in the studios in a couple of weeks, and in Sweden. It can be very inspiring, I think, but I always master and mix here at home because this is kind of my safe spot, my sweet spot. Last questions, guys. If you were a new producer starting now, would you still do trance? Yes. I don't make music just for the success of it. I make music because I want it to make, yeah. What are your plans for November 11? Do you have presentations the same day at EDC and Miami? Yeah, I'm playing EDC Orlando, and then I'm flying straight out to Miami. So I'll be playing Live the same night. Are you going to do a longer set in ASAD Rotterdam? Watch this space. Info very soon. What country did you not visit yet? I haven't been to Iceland yet. I'd love to go. That sounds like a great thing. Yeah, that's about it, guys. I think we have to cut the live stream because some people want to go home as well, and I have to get some dinner. Yeah, I just want to say massive thank you to everybody for joining this State of Trance live mix. Maybe I can end with playing another section from the year mix, not a section I've just played you, but maybe something from an earlier section in the mix. I'll play you 1 minute, and then the rest has to be a secret until the mix gets released, and you guys can enjoy the rest of it. So yeah, shall we do that? Would be a cool idea, I think. Yeah, this is a nice section. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be playing you one more minute from the mix that I did earlier. The mix will be broadcasted right before New Year's Eve. It will be released early December. Tonight I'll be broadcasting a State of Trance from our studio in Amsterdam. Yeah, guys, keep watching, and I hope to see you guys soon. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Floris for helping me out with the live stream. Don't forget to tune in tonight to A State of Trance, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. And we're off.
Het is allemaal weg dit.
Cool. En?
Niks gebeurd.
Hoe ging het?
Goed.
Dat was leuk.